Hello, amazing family. This is Adija with the Parenting Mindset Shift, a place for parents to bring clarity, confidence, peace, and joy to their parenting journey. And today, the video is about this powerful impact of physical presence and emotional absence. And we're going to give 7 tips to avoid it. So, did you know that when being present with your child, but emotionally, like being physically present with your child, but emotionally absent, can actually be experienced as neglect? And sometimes I think we have a really hard time to connect the two. But neglect is not limited to the absence of physical care. It can also come from a lack of emotional connection. So, let's just talk more about this topic and understand its impact and its importance. But before we begin, if you found our content valuable, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, click the bell icon to receive those notifications for future videos, and share it if you love and you connect with it. So now let's get started. The presence of a person physically can sometimes create an illusion of care and attention. So when the actual emotion presence is essential for building healthy relationships. So when someone is physically present but emotionally absent, like I said, it can lead to feeling of neglect and loneliness, right? So imagine the child not understanding why they are feeling lonely, or having the guilt that they should be grateful because mom is driving me to dance every day, mom is dropping me off at school, mom is here physically, but they still feel disconnected. They cannot really explain that, right? Because physically we are here. So the why is, and the parent that is physically present and emotionally absent. So if we put ourselves in the shoe of the child for a moment, the child is with her mom. Like I said, I'm going to take my example of they go to dance class together. Mom is dropping them off, her off every day. Still, that mom at that moment is not necessarily using that opportunity to connect, but is only lecturing, criticizing, or even ignoring, because at that moment the mother is thinking about dinner. The mother is thinking about the next on the to-do list. The mother is thinking about the next errand to do. So she's driving, not really paying attention of the interaction and the connection that she could have used as an opportunity to build with her child. So the emotional connection is vital for fostering a sense of security and belonging. So are we intentional in how and where we are providing our children with that sense of security and belonging? I use the example of dropping off and going to dance because those moments are great opportunities, right? So neglect from physical presence and emotional absence can have long-lasting effect on children. And of course, most of the case is never intentional. We don't intentionally say, I refuse to connect with you right now because I'm busy thinking of dinner. We don't do that intentionally. So some individuals may struggle with our own emotional expression, the way to express our feeling, the way to communicate our feeling. But it's essential to address those challenges and be very mindful of the impact of a disconnection, of our emotionally disconnect, that the impact that we have with our children. So it goes back to working on ourselves to cultivate that skills of mastering our emotion so we can be fully available to our children. So now, what can we do to avoid this, right? How can we do to avoid this disconnection? Number 1, and you already know, be intentional in being present. You are leaving work or the house to pick up your child. Stop a minute and state your intention to be present for whatever is coming at you. Because it can be very chaotic when you go pick them up. Be intentional. I'm going to be there to connect with my child. Because by connecting, we can then communicate properly. Number 2, practice active listening. When engaging in conversation or interaction, make a conscious effort to listen to your child actively. Show genuine interest of what they're saying. Ask questions, if only it's necessary, right? And provide appropriate response. Again, you are showing and you're demonstrating your emotional presence by doing those things. And number 3, maintain eye contact and use verbal and nonverbal cues. So of course my eye contact if possible, because if you're driving you're not necessarily do that, but hey, if you are in a situation where you're actually driving, you can communicate, use your facial expression, gesture and body language to convey your emotional presence. There is all of that non-verbal that can definitely do the job. So even if you're not physically in the same space, or like I say, if you're driving, you can, like moving and smiling, like doing those faces, oh really, huh, oh yeah, oh really, oh I didn't know. Things like that. I remember learning this technique from the book How to Talk So Teen Will Listen and Listen So Teen Will Talk by Adele Faber, and it was like some 15 years ago. Actually, I may need to reread that now because I read that book before my kids were teen, but I remember those techniques of how to listen so they can talk more. Number 4, express empathy and understanding. Of course, I know those things appear to be simple, but those are the indication that you are emotionally present. So make an effort to understand their emotion, their perspective. Show empathy by acknowledging their feeling, again about validating their experience, offering support and comfort when needed. So when they come into the car and they tell their story, don't jump on judging it, just listen. That's an indication of being emotionally present and attentive to their needs. Okay, so number 5, avoid distraction. Minimize distraction that can divert your attention away from your child. So of course it's not always as easy for everyone, but that's really an indication to be emotionally present, is to just remove that aspect as much as possible. Have a phone away when they are talking if possible. Number 6, show appreciation and encouragement. So like I said earlier, maybe sometimes we're too busy criticizing or lecturing, giving an opportunity to, okay, that's my moment to actually talk about what I wanted to talk. Sometimes it's just about encouragement, positive feedback, to acknowledge their contribution or effort of our children, recognizing what they are being achieving and things like that. This is a demonstration of your emotional presence, and that fosters a supportive environment as well. So number 7, be mindful of your communication style. Pay attention to your tone of voice, choice of words, and overall communication style. And I'm guilty of it. I'm working on those things and I'm sharing those things because I want to be intentional and think about it. So that's the way for me to make sure that I'm actually applying what I'm talking about, is to talk about it and then making sure that I remind myself to do those things. So yeah, I want to make sure that I have clarity, kindness when I talk and when I interact with them. I convey, that's another way to convey emotional presence. Avoid being dismissive and judgmental or very formal or things like that. Those create emotional distance when we do those things. So yeah, so this week's Shred Connection tool is to learn more than you know about your child and their relationships with, make a friend you didn't know about, maybe like talking about a friend you didn't know about. Be present enough to discover something about your child this week that is completely new. Try, and for that you need to talk a little bit more with them and ask more questions, because there is no, I wouldn't say that we know everything about our children. There must be something that you'd be like, oh, I didn't know that, right? So, hey, physical presence without emotional engagement can leave individual feeling neglected and emotionally unfulfilled. So let's just work on those aspects of being physically here, emotionally connected, and strive to cultivate those meaningful emotional connection with our children. And those emotional presence is the key to nurturing healthy bond and promoting overall well-being. Remember, neglect is not just about physical absence. It can also come from an emotional distance. So let's make an effort to be emotionally available and provide the care and attention or love ones truly need. So we can then do a communication and teaching that is easy to manage with them, right? So that's really all for today. So thank you for joining us today. Thank you for, I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Leave a comment about what you think about the things that we shared today. And don't forget to subscribe and more. To ring, like put the bell for the notifications so you can have more content. And as always, take care of yourself and each other, and I will see you next time.